I'm sure everybody has heard at this point. Everybody knows about it at this point. E3 is dead, and we killed it. We didn't really kill it. It's more that it just didn't make sense anymore. But basically, what has gone down in the last few weeks is that, as you can see, E3 has been canceled. The show did not garner the sustained interest necessary. And effectively, every major publisher pulled out, decided they weren't going to go. And at that point, it just doesn't make sense to rent out the LA conference arena, whatever the hell it's called. And so they just decided it didn't make sense, which is a bummer. I mean, it simply did not garner the sustained interest necessary to execute it in a way that would showcase the size, strength, and impact of our industry. Which is true. They said this was a difficult decision because all of the effort we and our partners put towards making this event happen, but we had to do what was right for the industry and what's right for E3. We appreciate and understand that interested companies wouldn't have playable demos ready, and that resourcing challenges made being at E3 this summer an obstacle they couldn't overcome. I mean, you could say it was because I couldn't get builds ready. You could say that it was because of this, and this. I think it's simply that a thing like E3 just doesn't really make a lot of sense anymore, if we're being honest. Like, I went to E3 back in 2019 and it was awesome, but it was already starting to feel kind of bizarre. It just didn't really make much sense because it was like it was a really, really weird environment where it was starting to feel very corporate, like they couldn't actually fill it up with enough people to justify it. And at the same time, it didn't feel like it was just a bizarre thing. It was clearly targeted and built towards the big industry guys, and smaller everyday creators and gamers weren't very welcome at it. It felt very strange. So like, this is the show, the entrance to the convention center. Most of these are just regular gamers, some employees of big companies, but not a whole lot. Lines were crazy for everything. Just absolutely everything was packed. And as you can see, as they pan, it was sheer madness. But once you actually got in, you could try games early, you could do all of this. But all of these major publishers decided that they weren't going to go because, as you can see, it's very expensive and difficult to put something like this on. There's the infrastructure of getting all of the computers there for demos. There's all the special little showcase things. There's a lot of pieces that go into it. The standby lines. And really, unless you were on the upper level, like up here, that you see here, the second floor of some of these showcases, you would go and spend 8 hours on the show floor and maybe get to see 1 to 3 games because it was so packed, and because the priority was always to streamers and YouTubers and press people, and that's it. And so if you weren't on that list, if you didn't have that badge, they just didn't really care. And so they would let people who were streamers cut in front of you. They'd let people who were YouTubers cut in front of you. And I'm saying this as a streamer and a YouTuber. Like, I understand why the companies want that guy to come in their line and see it. But as a regular consumer, as a regular person there just to enjoy the industry, it didn't make sense. It was like going to a big water park or Universal Studios or Disney without the fast passes and stuff. It just doesn't really work. It's clearly built towards the people that have those special access badges. And random dancing, that was the other thing that they had. Sure did. So it felt really weird, but it was super cool to see it in its last form back in 2019. All the Fortnite stuff, yeah, it was everywhere, I swear. But as for what happened with this one, basically everybody pulled out. Everybody was like, listen, we're not going to spend millions to go to the show floor and like sort of get represented, sort of have people there that are looking at us, when we could just go and do our own thing, which is what most of these companies decided to do. Because I mean, if you look at it just very simply, like, again, MS Paint, if we have a big square, and then we just say like, okay, this is our show floor space Of course, it's many, many other rooms. But if we have like this show floor, and then we say, okay, and over here we've got the CDPR booth, and then over here we have Capcom, and then over here we've got Xbox with a big showcase floor where they're gonna have a ton of stuff, and then over here we'll have Sony, and then over here we're gonna put, did I already say Nintendo? Probably Nintendo, and then we're gonna put over here, I don't know what's another publisher, EA. I probably already said, I don't know, I'm repeating myself, but they have all of these little groups. But all of these people, you can also think of this as like paying for chunks of the space, right? They're all paying for just, oh my God, I just inhaled my throat. That kind of hurt. Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus. So with that, yeah, get that boy some milk. Get that boy some milk. I swear, it was like down in my chest. It was like deep down. That was weird. Hydrate, you fool. I'm sorry. Yeah, please don't die. I have my water. Okay, anyway, continuing. We'll let Jacob cut that out. So you can think of this as every company basically paying a chunk of the cost, which is represented by the total surface area. The problem is, once these people pull out, the erase tool in this really sucks, but once these people pull out, and then these guys pulled out, we're going to go do our own thing. And then Xbox pulled out. All of a sudden, you start to see the problem where the only way they can really do E3 is if they have people to justify this large space. And this space also represents the cost of putting the show on. But every time somebody leaves, you end up with the space having to be paid for and made up by these other participants. So what I would not be shocked at all was happening is probably the organizers of E3, every time one of these big guys would say they were leaving, they would come in and be like, so hello, EA. I'm going to call EA real quick. We need more money, please, because everybody's leaving. And EA might have said, okay, we'll give you a little bit more money to do it. Because now we'll be the centerpiece. We'll be the main guys at the show. And then another group leaves. And then they have to call these guys and be like, can you give us more money, please? We need more money because these guys pulled out. We have to make up that difference. They're like, okay. And then another group leaves and they call these guys, can we get more money, please? And then they say no. So they call EA again. They're like, can you give us more money, please? Because we have to make up this space with you. And before you know it, there's like a few companies that are footing the bill for an entire Giga conference, and it just doesn't make sense anymore. And I think that's what happened with E3 is eventually these companies just said, why would we spend all of this money to do this when it frankly just makes more sense for us to do it ourselves? And that's what they decided to do. And I can't blame them. I really can't blame them. But it's a huge bummer because E3 was like Christmas. It was so special. It felt so cool to go to E3 and see the industry in its ultimate form. Like, it was so cool. And now it's realistically, it's a thing of the past. We're going to probably see a replacement because I think there is a market for it. I think, honestly, I mean, I guess everybody in chat, let me know. I would guess there probably is a market for a big gaming conference where people can go meet their favorite creators and then also try games that are coming out in the near future. That wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, imagine if we could go to E4. Yeah, we go to E4 and we see, we can have a meetup. We can all go get lunch together or drinks or something. And then on the show floor, we can all go and try games together. We can all load up in the Final Fantasy 16 booth and try that game early together. There's so many things that you could do. TwitchCon, yeah, if we're on Twitch, we can do that. It's kind of hard to go to TwitchCon if you're a YouTube streamer. But we could go to TanaCon. Isn't that a thing? TanaCon? I would love that for us. It'd be great. Does YouTube has like, it's VidCon, but VidCon covers like everybody. LukeCon. I mean, TanaCon's the perfect example of what E3 would have had to turn into. Because when you have like one or two things that are holding up an entire convention, it just doesn't really work anymore. So you're footing the bill. Let's go. All 250 of us. Let's do it. Nick Merckx does that with his barbecue. He does like an annual barbecue where he and a bunch of people or all of his fans go out and MFAM barbecue. They go and they meet up somewhere and they go and like have a great time. It's honestly, it's pretty cool.
The MFAM Barbecue 2021 recap.
There's the video. Look at this.
I had so much fun.
Look at this. Like, this would be super cool to do one day. But like this is a thing that some of these people do. It's pretty cool. The big thing. They got the big logo. That's the way to do it. I don't know. Is this Florida? I think he's in Florida half the year. Oh, dude, they have the big bounce houses. Look how many people showed up. That's ridiculous, dude. That's ridiculous. See, I'm thinking a meetup. I'm like, okay, we'll probably have 10 people show up. And I think that would be super fun. But like, we'll go get drinks or watch a movie or whatever. But like, this is for basically one streamer for a meetup that they do annually. Look how insane this is.
What's up, yo? It's MFAM Barbecue 2021. Where the hell are y'all at? Why y'all not here right now? You see all these beautiful people? Come on.
They're all wearing their FaZe shirts. Like, there's a lot of people. To be fair, a lot of people, like, if I was going to this, if I lived in Florida, I'd probably go. And if I had some, like, 3-4 friends around, I probably would bring a few friends. Because why not? I think it'd be fun. You know, it's probably a good time. But, like, all these people are wrapped up around the top. There's so many people on the bottom. And it's basically built around, my understanding, like, one dude. Yeah, what a bro convention. Yeah, for real. These guys are alphas. I will say I'm very glad Nick has never bought into like the Aiden, whatever his name is, the Aiden or Andrew Tate thing of like alpha males. He's just kind of like a super buff dude who plays video games and is like, yeah, we're going to be the best, you know? Because he very easily could have spilled into that territory. And as far as I know, he hasn't, which is very good. Now that's crazy.
I would have been out here earlier, but I was taking a shit. That's my bad. I want to meet you guys for years, so let's do that. Let's have a great time today. You guys be good, have fun, win some money, eat some food, have some drinks, and do it on me, baby.
And it's just a good time. He apparently he foots the bill for like most of it. I think there might be a small entry fee just to keep it from getting like insane. It's like $150 or something. It's not as bad. I think Tim the Tatman, didn't Tim the Tatman try to do something like this? Tim the Tatman convention meetup or something. And it was like aggressive. It was like $600. I think so. Tickets. Tim the Tatman tailgate. Yeah, see this? Single day pass only 70. Okay, that's not bad. But VIP pass to meet him it's like $560. And it's sold out. Or maybe it already happened. No, it hasn't happened yet. But I mean, some of these streamers, dude, it's like hardcore. This is a super cool website, by the way. Look at this. How did they do this? This is so cool. Like, wow. They rent out a stadium. They rent out a freaking stadium, guys. That's how insane some of these meetups can be. Gold Zone, competitions in music, main stage, gaming tournament finals, Tim Pong tournament finals, Tim and Friends lookalike contest. That's actually fun. And special surprise, all wait under the spotlights. Okay, merch, concessions, charging stations, airbrush tattoos. Honestly, pretty cool idea. Cool idea. I don't love that it's so expensive, but car show, pregame tailgate, and like just having game tournaments and stuff, and tournaments where people who go can actually win money and stuff. It's a fun idea. It's a fun idea. But I mean, clearly there's a market for this type of thing in a vacuum for these smaller creators, for these like smaller events focused on one creator, powered by Cash App. Yeah, he is in Florida. Okay. Oh, see, Tfue went. So Tfue and Tim's there. So it's probably one of those things where like these people all come together and clan up, and you can go and there's like 6-7 streamers and YouTubers there. Okay, by the way, this is not how you do this. We all know the money pit where the money's flying around. You grab it from the ground. Most of the time, the employee will forget to tell you you're not allowed to do that, okay? Most of them will say you can't do that. But, and if they don't tell you you can't, you can. Okay, if they tell you that you have to grab it from the air, then yeah, you're just kind of screwed. You're not going to get anything. Sometimes like, yeah, you can't pick it up off the ground. Then you're in trouble. But usually they forget, and then you just grab it from the floor, and then you can make ridiculous money. Last time I did it, I grabbed a ton of it, and I got a bunch of free coupons for like free coffees and stuff, because it was at like this convention fair thing. And then they told me I could do it again, but I had to have one arm tied behind my back, and I still scooped that stuff up. He took my thing.